What's going on, y'all? This is JK, and we just joined. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
You, as white people, are obligated to right wrongs that your ancestors did. White people want black people to stop talking about it and don't make me feel bad about myself. And I'm not a bad person. Yes, you are. If you don't want to hear it, too bad.
Okay, so the first question I have is why are white people obligated to right wrongs of their ancestors? Second question I would have is why is it just white people? Why is it not everyone who would be obligated to right the wrongs of their ancestors? So I want to put the shoe on the other foot right quick. Ma'am, would you feel obligated to right the wrong of your ancestors if you found out that one of your ancestors were part of one of the African tribes that willingly participated in the slave trade? Or would you feel obligated to right the wrong of one of your ancestors if you found out that they were one of the people, black people in the US that actually owned slaves themselves? I highly doubt that you would. Okay. Bottom line, y'all, okay, nobody living today is obligated to do a doggone thing to right wrongs of their ancestors. Okay. We're only obligated to right the wrongs of things that we personally did. And next.
Okay, y'all. So I want to address this question because every time we have a video go viral and it's a post of me in Princeton in the video, people always want to know why did I choose to adopt a white child versus a black child. And typically I respond very sarcastically or rudely. But this time, just this time, I said, you know what?
Yeah, to be completely honest with y'all, your man's JK, that would be my response to rude and sarcastically. But real quick, my question would be, or my first question would be, what difference does it make of the ethnicity of the child that was adopted? Okay. The fact that they adopted a child should be the most important thing. But you got people out here that are more focused on the fact that she adopted a white child rather than a black one. But let's let her go and keep talking.
Let me educate the people just for a split second. I know. Oh my gosh, it's a black woman with a white child. God forbid, you know what I'm saying? But if God didn't want it to happen, then maybe it wouldn't have. And let me tell you why. Because I did not do private adoption, and I think that's where people is getting all of these things misconstrued. I did not do private adoption, and private adoption is, where you go and you talk to the adoption agency. I don't even know how the dang on process works, honestly. But what I will say is I was a foster parent. And as a foster parent, me and my husband decided not to have any stipulations on the children that would come into our home that would need assistance. Like, why would we put stipulations on that? Oh no, they can't be white. Oh no, it can't be a boy. Oh no, they can't be 12. Oh no, they can't have a disability. No, we welcomed all children of all ages.
Yeah, see, exactly, which again goes right back to my question. What difference does it make what the ethnicity of the child is? Let me ask you this. You think any child of any ethnic group would give a wet fart what the ethnicity is of the people who are willing to open up their home and adopt them to get them out of the foster care system? Man, heck no. That child would be more focused and more happy about the fact that anyone was willing to adopt them and get them out of the system. They don't care what color they are. That people open up their home and are providing them a home now would be the most important thing. So right there with you, man. Matter of fact, shouts out to you and your husband. Appreciate y'all.
All colors, all religions, all disabilities into our home so that we can assist those children while their parents was, getting themselves back together. Now we've had some beautiful reunification stories come out of our foster home. However, when it comes to Princeton, aka Boosie, when it comes to him, unfortunately my baby didn't have the opportunity to be reunified with his birth mom or dad. So They gave me and my husband the option to adopt him. Now, we had him since he was 3 days old. He didn't get adopted until he was 2.5. I was the only mom he knew. Ricardo was the only dad he knew. So when the option for adoption became available, why would we say, no, he's white. I dare not take a white child because we're black. Put him back in the system. Put him back in foster care. Baby, do you know? Like I can't even fathom. Like it just would have never been any possibility for me to tell the social workers to place him back in foster care. Absolutely not. Now I don't feel the need to have to clarify any decision that me and my husband choose to make for our family. But what I will say is the plans that God have for you is far better than your own. Now, my plan, I never would have adopted. Never thought about it. But God's plan was for me to adopt through foster care the child that I have, the children that I have. Now, I always say this, if people are so concerned about who other people choose to adopt, then I want them to get on their overcoats, their boots, grab their keys, and shimmy on to their nearest social services or adoption agency and ask about all the hundreds of thousands of children that are available for adoption right now. Right now. I challenge you to do it. I do. Now, while I understand what it could look like to other people, baby, that's not my prerogative. What y'all think is not my business. I don't care. I don't give a hill of beans or a roll of potatoes like my great aunt used to say. I don't care. But what I will say is if you care nearly as much as the strength that it took you to type out a comment on a stranger's page on the internet, take that same energy and go adopt. Do it now. Don't delay. Okay? Somewhere a child really deserves that. Okay? Well, y'all have a good and blessed day. Bye.
Well, ma'am, first of all, I want to tell you, you can forget that happening because it's always the ones with the most doggone mouth that'll be the first ones to shirk back and try to hide themselves and get to the back of the line when it's time to actually step up, or in other words, put their money where their mouth is. Again, she made a fantastic point. This is something that God has laid on her and her husband's heart to do. All right. So what people think about the situation is completely and totally irrelevant to them. And I agree with you 100%, man. So again, shouts out to you and your husband, Ricardo. Thankfully, little Boosie didn't get sent back and put into the system. And I guarantee you, he will grow to love you all immensely in the future because he will remember what you all did for him. You saw past the fact that he was white and just saw the most important thing, which was the fact that there was a child that needed to be pulled out of the system and not forced to go back into the system. So God continue to bless you all. Next.
What happened to all that mouth y'all had for Trump? Oh, he's gonna ruin the country. It's gonna be the end of days. He's the Antichrist. Like, what happened to all that? Where'd all that go? Because I just heard that this man just executed a boat full of Venezuelans that were trying to ship fentanyl and other opioids into our country. You know, the one that's killing us and aging us rapidly, our youth at that. They're targeting college students out here, the minds of the future. And this man told our peoples, he told our troops to execute on sight. Not no apprehend, not no lock up, not no blow out their engines. He said execute. That is a man that is trying to save our country. So all y'all that got all that mouth, just keep them shut. Y'all have nothing else y'all can say. This man is trying to save us, and y'all over here talking about it's going to be the end of... Shut up.
Okay, and she is absolutely right. Yep. Okay, agree with it or disagree with it. That is clearly, your opinion and your right. The fact that during the previous administration, the doggone gates to this country, they were flung wide open to everybody. Hey, come on in. without any thought, or maybe with the thought and quite on purpose, of the fact that along with people who were disenfranchised, people who were poor, people who might have wanted to get better opportunities, there was also going to be a flood of what we would call the undesirables, like these Venezuelan gangs that came in here, flooded out cities, and in certain circumstances actually took over apartment buildings, holding U.S. citizens pretty much as hostages. And not a single thing was done about it. Even if they had gotten arrested, okay, 24 to 48 hours later, they were just put right back out on the street to continue to just do it all again. So yes, all these elected officials that all during their campaign speeches, how anti-drug they are, how anti-violence they are. They want to clean up the problem in this country. They want to stop the drug epidemic in this country. All this blah, blah, blah. Well, we actually have a president who is putting his money where his mouth is and doing everything that he possibly can to make that a reality. And so many people in this country, what are their response to that? They're getting upset about it. They're getting mad about it. They're calling him everything but a doggone child of God. Now, if you are an opioid or fentanyl user, well, yeah, I can understand you being upset about the fact that, he just blew a huge shipment or multiple shipments of your drug of choice quite literally out of the water, and it's now sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But oh well, if you are that hard up and you're that desperate, you don't want to get help, you don't want to get cleaned up. Well, again, we live in a free country. All right, go ahead and strap on a oxygen tank, get you a good snorkel, and dive on in and go down there and recover your drugs. But for the rest of us here, okay, that are proud and happy of the job that our president is doing, and not to say that him or anybody else in the government is perfect, they're not. Show me one perfect person, not only in this country, but on this planet. Okay, go ahead. I'll wait. Yeah, exactly. But as far as doing the job that he was elected to do, for the most part, he is doing it. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much, President Donald Trump. Thank you to your cabinet. Thank you to your administration. And thank you to those elected officials in our federal government that are actually working to do exactly what they promised to do, which is improve the quality of life for U.S. citizens. All right. Salute to y'all. For real. Okay. Next. Wow. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right here we have a perfect example of that saying: play stupid games, win a body cast and a 6-week stay in the hospital. And I love how you heard somebody in the background talking about what the F, okay, as the car drove off. That wouldn't have happened if this person hadn't purposely positioned themselves to get in front of it and tried to stop the car from getting where it was going. All right, man, let me tell you something, you protesters out here, for it, as much as you all love screaming certain words, that shows your either stupidity or your hypocrisy, because you are exercising a right that you have in this country to do it. However, just because you have that right, that does not free you up from consequences, as this lady clearly found out. So, oh well, sorry, not sorry. So yeah, I thought we'd end on a good one here. Okay, y'all, I think that's enough John for one episode. So if you all would, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And your man JK will be back next time to jaw on about some more stuff later on. Y'all take care. Peace.